Welcome back to the NLC, where we are getting ourselves ready for Nordavind versus Granit Gaming. We've seen 2 games so far, and they felt pretty stale to me, Jamada, but this might be the game where we will see some kills.
Yeah, this might finally be the game where we see some kills. Granit have really gone above and beyond how everybody expected them to play. And on the opposite side, Nordavind, they've had a pretty disappointing start. Yesterday, they secured their first win, and now they're looking to continue that. And versus Granit, I feel like we're going to have a pretty big butt of heads just because both these teams have they have so much to prove.
Nordavind played against Godsend yesterday, I believe that was Gullborg.
Yes.
How did that game go?
Well, it was a pretty clean game from Nordavind. They started out the first week with an 0-2, and they were a team that had a lot of expectations coming into this league. And I would say yesterday they looked clean because they actually had priority in lanes where they were drafted for them. Their draft up until that point had been quite questionable in terms of the players playing Yone, getting pushed in, losing all the Drakes, never have a really go button. But against Godsend, they were playing in normal mode. I think that was like, oh, now we're able to have a success story again. We know how to play, but now you're going up against intermediate instead against Granit Gaming.
Yeah, because what kind of team is Granit Gaming actually, Jamada?
Well, their star man seems to be in the mid lane, Sahira. As you can see, Nordavind have paid their respects and they've removed their eyes away from him.
It's the Sahira taxed.
It's the Sahira tax you have to pay when you're playing against him. So, you know, they like to play through the mid lane when they can. And away from there, you know, you might sometimes sort of struggle. But I think, you know, Sahira, was it first game of the day that he won and he came on for the interview, Gullborg? He set some records straight. So, you know, he's definitely got some hype around the team because of that. And like we say, the Sahira tax in the Rise ban.
He's definitely a fan favorite as well. Okay, so we got drafted. The first pick's gonna come through, but I want to paint the picture for you, Coolin. So basically, the interview happened. Foxy was flaming him for losing him a game in solo queue.
Okay.
Only for Foxdrop to find out there was a hero that carried him, and he just sat him straight down, and he was just talking about that. They are not here to get dominated. They are here to dominate themselves. They're not here for experience. And that kind of just set the picture from the get-go. He quickly became a fan favorite from that point on. But let's draw the picture back into the draft. We have a Jhin first pick.
Yeah.
What?
We don't get to see that often.
No, we've never seen that.
Yeah, Jhin is one of the rarer ADs to get picked up first. It's pretty much just a Kai'Sa. Other than that, you won't see ADs picked up first. So Granit saying to me that they might be playing around the bottom side if you're going to put that much priority on a pick like Jhin so early on. And this just sets up for Nordavind to give Chrisberg his also coveted Kai'Sa pick, which he loves so much that we know about.
Yeah, and this has to be planned. Like, you are literally playing for this if you pick Jhin because you're like, oh, take Kai'Sa, we're baiting you to take it. And in the next rotation, they're getting the Galio, and that just has to go support because you're picking it up with the Victor at the same time. So we are getting priority picks here. Dr. Chaos, his most played champion is the Galio. It's his most preferred champion. That's it. And Sahira, obviously with the Rise Con, you get the Victor instead of... We've seen what he can do. He even outperformed hat-tricks in lane, so you need to respect this guy as well.
Yeah, but seeing them pick up these picks, though, Jamada, it does feel like, if I'm looking at this from a side, like someone who hasn't been in the LEC before, it kind of feels like comfort, and that's something you touched upon already, Gullborg. But I do feel like in a competitive way, it's not the way to go.
I mean, it's a mix of comfort and meta, right? It's not like these champions are out of flavor or anything. And honestly, each individual team is always going to have a, you know, sort of a drafting tendency to either comfort or meta, right? In Granit's case, they seem to be favoring meta right here. And I still think it's fine. We'll just have to see whether they end up getting punished for it because obviously there's no early jungle lock-in. There was already 5 jungle bans going into phase 2. Nordavind, they're going to lower that to even further heights with the Graves, and I mean, they could just end up... I'm not sure what else really you could remove at this point. There's just so little there.
Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, yeah, I don't even want to get into it because it's going to be a champion I've forgotten all about. What I'm interested about is for Granit as well that they're just they're banning top laners. They're just getting rid of some of the things from Curb here. The Udyr champion we haven't seen yet in the NLC, but we've seen it a lot in the LCK and even in the LPL and LEC now. But what I want to point is that he's not banning mid laners. Like the Syndra is still up where you can take priority in the early game against a champion like Victor. And I just feel like you have to ban that as a respect against Ericsson, but also just because of the matchup.
You know what I just thought of looking at these junglers and knowing that there is a Moonstone Renewer and knowing that there is a Water Staff. How about Ivern, Jamada?
For what? For Granite?
Or
for Nordavind?
There's not much left, yeah.
I mean, it wouldn't be too horrible here. What I want to point out is I'm actually very happy that Granite removed away the Yone. Ericsson played it, I think, in week 1. I don't think he played it yesterday, did he? Unless my memory is very poor.
Week one.
So week 1, it wasn't the best performance, but here it would have actually probably done quite a bit of work, giving you that little bit of oomph in the physical damage department, because the Nordavind draft up until just now was relatively magic heavy. And wow, okay, that's how deep we've got to dig here for Granite picking up the Kha'Zix, but there's at least some assassination targets. Kai'Sa can be easy to get onto if she's, if she dives forward and Kha'Zix is able to just leap out, you can find success there. But diving onto Lilia, that's going to be a bit of a problem. The rest of the composition too, it's going to be really tough for this Kha'Zix to play the game, really.
So trying to paint out the picture of the enemy draft, I like that when you are picking Kha'Zix, when you have to dig this thieves, you don't really have a hyper AD carry to play for. You got a Jhin in the backline who can facilitate you with the curtain call, with the range. You can kind of play around, poking them down, and then for Kha'Zix to come in as the last execute between a Vixer and a Jhin after they've gotten onto them. But moving on to the next one here, I'd be very surprised if we would see I'd be very surprised if we did not see the Syndra. To pick them makes the most sense to me in terms of playing around in your jungle in the early game. If you can shut down this Kha'Zix through the pressure you get, or just roam down towards the bottom lane with a Leona, skirmish it there with the Lily as well, you got some good priority to play for.
Goldberg kind of sketched out a game plan for Granite, and I kind of wonder though, how feasible is it to do so, Jamada, to have the Kha'Zix run in and pick up kills?
There's a lot of peel options here for Nordavind. So I think for Granite, what might end up being important around some of these neutral objectives might actually be setting up pockets of fog so that Kha'Zix actually has areas to operate in properly. But even then, if I'm Kha'Zix, I might even just end up going like the Gore Drinker Conqueror build, where I'm not trying to outright assassinate people. I'm trying to make these fights go on for a little bit. And I'll pick my targets with my high base damages, as opposed to, full lethality, trying to blow one person up and then dying 1-for-1.
Yes.
Let's hope this is going to be a spectacular one, because, I'm hungry for a kill game. A game where we see lots of kills, a game where we see a lot of Clown Fiesta going on. This might be it. And we've seen a bit of difference here in the predictions. We're going to head on over to the casters, back to Hip Rain and to Foxdrop.
Cooleen's hungry for action. I'm just hungry, to be honest. I'm really excited to see this game. Goddamn Gore Drinker. I never heard of the Gore Drinker Kha'Zix. I don't really play jungle, to be honest.
It's not particularly common.
That sounds literally just awful.
Yeah, I think most Gore Drinker scenarios are pretty horrible and not particularly fun to watch. To be perfectly honest, so I think Kha'Zix is a very good solo queue style champion. So. And in solo queue, I wouldn't, you just go assassin because that's solo queue. I will say though, the synergy between a Galio and a Kha'Zix, if Kha'Zix goes for his ulti evolution first,
yes,
Galio can ult in on that, gather extended stealth and kind of be that kind of stealth bomber a little bit, and that could be pretty decent. That could be something that works for them. But yeah, I do think Galvin was very pinched here in the draft, and he's dug very deep to put out a Kha'Zix in this game.
Gonna have to see if it works out for him. We're heading on to the Rift for our third game of the day. This is Granit versus Nordavind. Me and you, Foxy, the only people who actually voted for Granit going into today. I'm very much on the hype train. I'm not letting myself down on that one. Dr. Chaos has genuinely impressed me as of late.
Yeah, and that's a fabulous name as well, Dr. Chaos.
Such a good name. Such a good name.
That's a great name. I like Granit as like an X Factor team. I think they can show up and show us some spicy things, and we have seen some surprises out of them. I think they had some good showings. I believe they played BTXL in week 1 on their second game. I'm I'm not 100% sure if that's actually no, that is true. Yeah, they did, and Granit looked good. Honestly, I thought they showed up very well against that squad, which is arguably a top 2 team in the entire league. So Nordavind have been struggling as well.
So far, Granit have played Godsent and BTXL. That's who they played so far.
Right.
They played someone at the beginning of this week, and that person was Dusty. So that was their first win, where they beat out Dusty. Arguably, Dusty are 0-3. So, yeah, somewhat 0-2 at the time, somewhat the expected result, but it was the first win for Granit as well.
Yeah,
they showed life in all of their games. So I think that's the key thing.
Yeah.
It's like they've lost 2 games out of their 3 games they've played, but they've genuinely shown life.
Yeah, I 100% agree with you there. And these 2 teams, I think, are in a similar spot in the NLC right now, where both teams are looking to show up a little bit more and really see what they're capable of. We're getting a cheeky late invade here. Sharp and Kerberos on the blue buff.
Yeah, Granit.
Oof.
Maybe getting forced off here. They have actually pulled Sahira over as well. Kurt's going to get sent back in as blue buff bouncing in and out of the resets, not getting picked up yet.
Uh-oh.
This is
Nara's
really
just
messy.
something else.
This is really, really messy. Is Gavin going to be able to steal this one?
If he loses this, it's GG.
Oh, he got
it. Okay.
That's
nice, man.
be really bad for Sharp.
Yep. Whoever lost that.
So much time.
Yep. And so on the plus side, Sharp is a fast enough jungler on that Lilia that she can just go straight back to the chickens and kind of take that away solo. And I mean, I'm painting a picture here, but it's not pretty either way. Like when you make a play like that, you have to get that buff. That it's so huge. You're now level 1. It sucks.
Oh, there's the Galio interaction. Jump in. He gets the taunt onto 2. Colossal smash really hurts. Champion's got mad base damages.
Yeah, and considering that was level 2 into level 1, that was a fairly good trade there for Granit in that bot lane. And we have seen another. Sorry, go ahead.
I was just saying he's leveled the Q. Ooh, my lord, touch. Able to get away.
Yeah, we have seen some interesting like support picks, I would say, today. Not necessarily anything wacky, but just in general, the way that the meta plays out, I think you got quite heavy engaged focus, kind of tanky focus supports as well. Curb misses the cannon. That is a crime. He ain't gonna be very happy about that either.
Again, kind of bullied a little here by Thomas. Thomas has run out of mana. There was that ward that actually, I believe, would have spot out Galben. Galben's actually just bolting away. He doesn't want anything to do with Sharp at the moment. Wants a little bit more time before he can do that. They're just going to run towards the crab on the top side of the map. Curtain being low means this is a potential opening if they want to see if they can find a little gank here. Once the crab, of course, is secured.
Yeah, absolutely. There's no vision up here either. But oh, that's a flash going down. It looked like they're just top lane is trading flashes there.
Okay.
Being pushed out of lane on this Gnar. It does have TP, so not too much being lost here. Galben realizes he's a bit too late. I don't. If he walks back to lane, maybe, but yeah, there's nothing here.
Lily's about in the area, and it does look like Galben actually just stealing away some camp. Teman's going to land the knock-up of the Kerb as he goes for the hop, and this could be Galben putting some serious damage into Kerberos and his first blood to Tamos.
Perfectly played there by Tamos, interrupting the Gnar hop with the charge. No flash on Gnar means that without that hop, you have no way to escape, and enough damage coming through from that electric Kha'Zix as well. Just take a look at this, pinned up against the wall, mid-jump going down. That's just, I mean, it's a feels bad moment, but credit as well to Tamos before that play even happened, being able to trade flashes with the Gnar, because I wouldn't really say this is a matchup that Gnar should necessarily be on the back foot, but Tamos is making it work.
That's on. He's the tank assassin, wave clear mage.
You're not wrong.
Speaking of tank assassins, Galio is moving around the map right now.
Gonna get spotted out on some vision here, unless he's gone to sweep. There
Yes, he has. Gravity Field's going to connect, and actually, they're looking for Ericsson. Ericsson has to flash away. Dr. Chaos comes in just a colossal smash, and this actually gives some breathing room to Sahira in the mid wave as Galben makes sure that this wave crashes. Sharp.
Ooh.
Gets spotted out here.
As well.
Making his way over. They are looking for a couple of people here. The gravity field's being used. The scatter the weaks onto two into the Zenith Blade. Sharp finds the kill. Dr. Chaos has to flash away as well. Nordavind find himself a good pick.
Yeah, that was well read by Nordavind. Ericsson is level 6. So when you have your ultimate up on Syndra, the threat of that happening means you just have to walk away. There's no way you're going to be able to win that fight. Lilia as well at this stage of the game is actually pretty strong, whereas Kha'Zix does need to be get us some more items before he can take some big fights like that. So nice W there coming out of Nordavind. Going to transition that into the Dragon as well. And a small, just a teeny weeny bit of a gold lead, but a good start all in all for them.
Bit of a shock and horror here. We're actually seeing a serrated Dirk build from Kha'Zix. Not going for the Gore Drinker build, but let's have a little look at this once again. This pick in the mid, it was just a bad base, honestly.
Yeah, so I think Syndra wasn't level 6 here. That was my bad. He hit level 6 right as Kha'Zix died, but it's just a phenomenal scat of the week. Like, he just played it really, really well. Ericsson, I think, is one of the mid laners in the NLC where there are some question marks about his champion pool and this is like his efficiency overall in general. And I think so far this game, like he's played really, really well. He had a quite significant CS lead in mid against the Hero 2. And yeah, I just think Ericsson right now he's impressed me. And as a Syndra, I can't wait to see him click one button and one-shot someone later on.
That's Syndra gameplay. Mishigu and Dr. Chaos going to get shoved in here down bot side. They're actually down pretty heavily in farm. An entire wave, but with the waves pushing in, this should be somewhat negated.
Yeah, definitely. Gonna be able to pick all that one up. Spurg, I didn't actually take a look at when he got his last reset off, so I'm not sure. I don't think they need to go back anytime soon here. They're just going to shove that one in, and yeah, he's sitting on 600 gold. He's not going to be doing too much with the reset here, so they're just going to walk into that tri-bush, get that vision down, get rid of the pink ward that will be sitting in there as well, and really just keep this pressure up. If you have permanent pro in the bot side of the map, then it's always nice. It means you can move around, and champion like Leona, she likes to move, and speaking of moving, that works with some swagger sidestep to avoid the 1 ulti.
Yeah, I don't know if that was a dodge or a miss, if I'm going to be honest with you, mate.
Glass half full, man.
Yeah, but you have to have a glass first to look at.
That's very true. I don't know, nothing half full. Or can you? Oh, gosh.
Looks like Nordavind are going to rotate over towards this Rift Herald. With the Ornhorn down, probably not really feeling too much threat. Nordavind are bringing a couple of members over. Dr. Chaos only level 5. So if he tries to go for anything here, he won't be able to come in with the ulti. And I think recognizing that, they do step away. As Touch throws out a Zenith Blade just as Granit leave.
Yeah, you can see as well on the mini-map that Mishigu and Dr. Chaos, they're in spawn at this point. So you don't have any, you don't have the numbers around that area to really make that Herald play. And as such, Granit very smartly deciding not to contest that one. They're going to walk away. But that does mean, getting that early Herald, the first Herald it's one of those objectives that's a little bit contested in the sense of how valuable it really is. But I mean, there's no argument that if you get it this early on into the game, you slap that down and you can get some plates. You can maybe even push for a first turret blood. It can be very useful, especially with the way that the game is trending here. And Lily has a lot of lanes for her to decide where she wants to put this one down.
Yeah, it feels like, to be honest, wherever Lilia wants to go, really. All the lanes are in a relatively decent place for them. Obviously, Granit have shoved out this bot lane for the moment, but once Chrisberg and Touch get back down there, expect to see Mishigu and Chaos play this a little bit more reserved. Galben, after getting caught, has been a lot less proactive on the map.
Yeah, this is kind of the problem I find with Kha'Zix in general is early on in this game, like you don't farm as fast as the other meta junglers, but you don't have the same amount of pressure as the meta junglers either. So it's like you want to be farming, you want to get like your mythic first, maybe even like 1.5 items, like get that mythic, whether it's Duskblade or Eclipse or whatever it is you want to go for, and then maybe like another straight Dirk on top of that, and then you actually start being able to one-shot people. It feels really great playing Kha'Zix at that point. Before you get to that point, you really are just outpaced, and we've seen that. Sharp is, I think he's got a lot of momentum on the map. He's got a lot of the tempo, and considering the start that he had as well, like it's really impressive for him to be doing that.
Yeah, definitely. Going to pick up the Scuttle Crab for himself in the top side. There's maybe some players are coming in towards this top lane here, although Curb will spot him out on the ward. Galben actually jumps in forward. Curb has ulti. The Ornhorn's going to connect, and Galben just looking to put some damage in. But once again, Tamoz not able to land the Orn. And that is going to be that, as Chris Berg takes a pretty even trade versus Michigu, considering he was 2 versus 1.
Yeah, it feels a little bit desperate, honestly, from the side of Granit here for Galben to be trying to play around Tamoz in the top side. Nara is not an easy champion to catch. I mentioned that when they got the first blood, about how, you know, I didn't really expect Nara to be put in that situation. And sure, Kerberos, bit of an MB there for him when he died early on, but since then he's done a great job of being able to put pressure on the top side and soak up the pressure that Granit are trying to throw at him. And this is going to be the second dragon of the game here, the Ocean Dragon going down to Nordavind, which means we'll either have a Cloud or an Infernal Dragon as our soul, and it's going to be that Cloud.
Honestly, for Granit, if they can stack the Clouds, it's actually really nice. Galio has a very long cooldown on his ultimate, means you can kind of do that stealth bomber you were talking about a lot more frequently. Genuinely nice stuff here. Gives him a lot of movement speed to work with. Obviously, Michigu probably doesn't really use the Cloud Soul as effectively as some of the other champions, but genuinely, most of these champions actually really like the Cloud Soul. Gives them the movement speed, the ability to throw their ultis out. Yep. It's only Michigu. I like looking at Nordavind as well. They're all happy with it.
Yeah, Nordavind are really happy. I think Syndra and Lilia especially, like, whenever you use your ultimate, you get that burst of speed, and that's so nice for champions like Syndra and Lilia who don't have any innate mobility. So, you know, they're just chilling and then they just zoom around the map. And here we go. We're going to see this first Herald drop down just for the plates here, just for the gold. And there's no real answer here from the side of Granit, which is really quite criminal. This is really the worst situation here. You hear this being talked about all the time on casts. If something happens on one side of the map, you have to answer it on the other side.
Yeah.
Galben, he recalled. He was in spawn. He's picked up his mythic. But overall, Granit just not being in position there to make anything happen. So that's just very, very free play for Nordavind.
Yeah, very, very free. Is the Duskblade, there's no Eclipse build or anything coming out. It is pure lethality. I want to one-shot you.
Yeah. I'm not sure how easy it's going to be for him to find targets to do that this game. He's got...
Yeah.
I mean, sure, you've got someone like Syndra, Lilia, like they're quite squishy champions, but they'll probably be buying... I don't know actually whether they'll be buying Zhonya's in this game or not. It's like Zhonya's is an item that's really cheap nowadays. Really cheap. So you see a lot being built on junglers, especially as like their second item.
Yeah,
and she does have a
Seekers is so cheap as well. Seekers is such a cheap item. I think the thing that makes it, you know, even worse for going this lethality build was exactly what Jamada was talking about. There's a lot of kind of peel, so getting onto the likes of Chris Berg is going to be hard because you have to go for a flank. Your only option is flanking. You can't just run through the middle of their team. There's a Leona, there's a Syndra. You got the Lilia. As long as she hits you, she can put you to sleep. Kerberos can slow you, and if he's in ulti, he has... Well, not in ulti, sorry. If he's in Meganar, he has 2 stuns, effectively, and another slow. It's going to be really hard to get through this team as the Kha'Zix when you're in this squishy build. When if it's the Gourd Drinker, he can jump into the face of them, and he's got the safety of the fact that Galio is going to follow him up, and he can survive long enough for the Galio to turn up and CC everyone. So, interesting build here. Obviously, this build does mean if Chris Berg is found by him, Chris Berg will die. I don't think there's any denying that. So that's the one thing to work with. We have come back to us, unfortunately, because we've got a little pause. It's over on the side of Nordavind, so they're just sorting out a quick ping issue in their gaming house, and then we'll be getting back on to the Rift for our third game. But so far, it is a 700 gold lead over the Nordavind and 2 dragons. But outside of that, it's fairly calm. Nordavind feel like they've got control on the map, but they're not like so far in control that Granit can't feel like they can do anything yet.
Yeah, I think this is going to be one of those games that will probably open up when the next dragon spawns. Because Nordavind were able to take quite early dragons in this game, it does put the timer on for a very early dragon soul as well.
Yeah.
Once, Sahira. I was just thinking Shakira for some reason. When Sahira, I should know his name. He carried me in solo queue. Like, it happens, man. I'm not going to let you finish what you're saying. When Sahira gets his mythic and gets like his item upgrade and stuff, maybe he can start putting a bit more pressure down as well. I do want to focus a little bit on that mid lane matchup as well, because in yesterday's interview with Nordavind, Ericsson was the interviewee, and he talked about Granit, the matchup today versus Granit, and he said Zahir is a 2-trick, Ryze and Victor. Now, Zahir has picked that Victor, so maybe there's some truth into that. And because I was stoking the flames maybe just a little bit in Twitch chat before this game, I ratted Ericsson out and said, yo, Zahir. Ericsson says, you're a 2-trick. What do you think about that? And Zahir says, I'm going to show him something spicy. That was a lie. And I can beat Ericsson on my 10th best mid laner. So I like that. It's good fighting words.
Maybe Victor is just his 10th best mid laner. Do you ever think about that?
Maybe it is.
He hasn't shown us his true power yet. Victor and Ryze are 10th and 9th. That's it. Everyone, there's 8 more champions above that right now. It feels weird because it's like we're only set 800 gold ahead at the moment, but it does really feel like Nordavind are the ones in way more control at the moment. And I think that's just because they've been able to get so many neutral objectives without any contest from the side of Granit. And whether that's down to the fact that they got the likes of the Kha'Zix and he can't really contest at the moment, or they just want to sit back and wait. But that timer is now ticking because we are looking at a soul coming up. It's 3 minutes until the third dragon. So it's 16 minutes we're looking at the third dragon. So it's about 25 minutes. Yeah, it's about 25 minutes we'll see that soul pop up. And if Granit aren't ready to start contesting dragons now, then every fight afterwards is going to be a soul point at least. So it's always like a coin flip on whether or not they find the soul after a team fight. So it's really on Granit to start kind of pick the pace up, and they've tried to put some players into Kerberos top lane. Obviously, First Blood worked fantastically, but every other time, Kerb has just been able to hop away to safety. So I want to see Galben maybe ignore Kerb in this top and try to get the likes of Zahira going, try to get the likes of Mishigu going as well.
Yeah, well, I agree with you that I don't think you should be looking top, but I also think where do you look? Because playing around a Victor is quite difficult. He doesn't really give much in the form of gank assist. Bear in mind, Kha'Zix doesn't need gank assist because he doesn't really have much by himself to offer into a gank. People can kind of just run away from him. So whereas Syndra is, low mobility champion, you have to find her overextending if you do want to punish her. And likewise for bot lane as well, like Nordavind has just drafted lanes all across the board that have permanent push, permanent prio. So it's kind of tough, honestly, for Kha'Zix to try and find his way into this game, which means he's relegated to just a farming duty, which, I think is okay for now. But, I do think Lilia kind of comes out on top of that. And it would also be a good reason as to why Nordavind's been able to pick up all these neutral objectives.
Absolutely. Well, looks like our pause and ping issues have been resolved and we're getting back onto the Rift into this game as only 2 plates remain here bot side. So if they're forced out, we could just see first turret blood going over to Chrisberg and touch, and we've seen what Kai'Sa can do when they get ahead. Has got the Q upgraded from the Akafian Rain as the serrated Noon Quiver and the pickaxe is enough to give him that.
Yeah, and Chrisberg as well, like not just being a Kai'Sa player, but he's just really good. Like I've been watching this guy for years at this point, and it just seems that no matter what team he's playing in, he's always one of the stars. We saw that yesterday. Honestly, he was. I think it was Chrisberg's game where he was like 6,000 gold up on the opposition AD carry. If I'm not mistaken, it was absolutely vile. It was so far ahead. Not quite so ahead in this game, but still, we have to look back to the draft and see that Granit did opt to give Chrisberg this Kai'Sa, who now has 1.5 items and is looking to come online pretty soon into this game.
Yeah, it really is. As the reset came through for Mishigu. Mishigu has components of the Gale Force, but not the Gale Force itself.
Now, there's only 2 mythics here from the side of Granit. But then there's only 1 on the side of Nordavind as well. But this is the thing, right? You got about 2 minutes left here. Herald's just spawned, so you've done the rotato for the second Herald into the top side if you want to take this. But I really think all eyes are going to be on this next dragon here. I don't think necessarily Nordavind want to be putting too much emphasis on securing this Herald and doing anything too sexy around the top side of the map. I think honestly, you just kind of get the shoves in, get that first move, and then you want to look towards this cloud because you can start setting up for that soul very, very early on into this game before Granit can even do anything about it.
Yeah, Tamoz misses the knock-up and now will pay the price as Kerb's able to chunk him out pretty heavily. Does then just show us why he's an assassin once again. Teleports coming in from Ericsson into the mid lane to make sure that Sahira is going to be okay there. And Rift Herald hasn't been started by either team yet. Although Michigan pretty heavily shoved underneath his tower, so not really going to be able to reset and get a Gale Force. So they may just give this up as Sharp's taken the Blast Cone over the wall and is just going to look to start this up with the help of his mid and support.
Yeah, so they are going to go for the Herald at the end of the day, but excuse me. There was only 30 seconds left until this dragon spawns, so what is the plan here? Do you want to sack this dragon and just play for towers and kind of collect the free gold that you've got on the map? It honestly looks like that's what Nordavind's going to do here. See, it is something that we've seen a lot in Season 11 where teams do focus. How did you not see that, Ericsson, mate? Come on, bro.
He's looking,
mate, there's a ping right
elsewhere.
there. Like, come on. Dragon is an important objective, but just picking up the free gold from taking all these outer towers is also a good strategy, especially if you're trying to keep a snowball going and or maybe even just accelerate someone like this guy.
We could even see it go down mid lane, to be honest, as pushing into a
Almost.
Victor can be incredibly hard, and that looks like this is the game plan now.
Yep.
Taunt's going to come in underneath the tower. They do get a fair amount of damage off from Dr. Chaos. He does get Scatter the Weak and Unleashed Powered, put to sleep and cooked as the Chaos Storm comes down, and Chrisberg should be able to finish this one up. Tomaz, just a little bit too late.
This was pretty dire here for Granit, actually. There were a few things they could have done in that situation. Because Nordavind have the tempo on the map, they're the ones making the decision. They decide, okay, we're going to trade this dragon for this tower on the top side and then use the Herald in the mid. So Granit should just be like, okay, you guys are stronger than us. We'll let you do that. We'll just play dragon and politely walk away. Unfortunately, they tried to do something about Nordavind's push, and it really just it wasn't the play. You know, Dr. Chaos jumps in all by himself, and sure, you insta-pop the Aftershock, but that's not going to be enough against the full squad of Nordavind. So a bit much there. Also forcing that TP out of Tammuz really doesn't help Granit's situation much.
Like, maybe if Sharp had got taunted under the tower and took some tower shots, maybe Sahira, could have traded at least 1-for-1 there. But that wasn't the case. Sahira wasn't quite in position anyway, so it's a really big ask as is. And, you know, Galben was doing dragon. Galben was invading and actually clearing out a couple of jungle camps on the blue side. So ultimately, not really the play. That ain't it, Chief. We'll see what Granit are going to be able to do now as Galben's just farming up. That's just the game plan for this Kha'Zix right now. Got triple longsword and the Duskblade. Looking to do a bit of a jungle clears. His camps will be spawning up topside, but Sharp's here to make sure they're picked up.
Yeah, the only time when top lane isn't an island is when the top laner isn't there. And then the bot lane becomes an island instead. It makes a lot of sense, you know, with Nordavind playing around Chrisberg at that 2 items. Really, really strong right now. Just, you know, pushing waves in, getting deep vision, looking for picks with this Leona, with this Syndra. Like, it's really, really easy to find someone out of position because they don't have to be that far. Oh, my sweet. That was really... if people were still there, it was in a bit of a pickle.
That was a scary jump by Galben.
That was a jump scare, you might even say. Yeah, not... Okay, but here we go. They've got the vision. They're going to look for the pick now.
Okay, well, the Swirl Seed hits on to the blue buff, so not going to hit onto anyone who could potentially get put to sleep, and Syndra things.
Yeah.
You can't even contest it.
Yeah, that was... this is the thing. Like, you're just slowing them... You're just suffocating them out, basically, at this point in the game. And I remember specifically watching the death segment here with Jamada, who very, very politely requested teams to stop suffocating enemy teams now, because as much as he likes good League of Legends, he wants to see more fiestas. Now, lads, were you even watching the stream? Imagine not watching NLC death segments. Imagine that. Clearly, Nordavind haven't got the memo here. And but hey, it is good League of Legends. What they're doing is very effective. And Mishigu, oh my sweet, oh gosh, he's fine.
Oh, no, he thinks he's safe. He's safe. He's actually safe.
I think, yeah, that was I
Flipping hell.
honestly, the observer baited me by changing their vision to just Michigu, which I respect because like that created tense drama. But there was
The only drama we're getting at the moment, Foxy.
That's very true. We will take that.
It's like an
Fabricated
episode
drama.
of EastEnders. Nothing's happening.
Mate, I have not watched EastEnders in a very long time. I'll be
Neither.
honest.
It's always on in my house. I've never watched it.
You're more of an anime guy, I hear. I don't think EastEnders and the
Just
anime
as much
crowd
screaming,
really
to be
mix.
fair, in both of those genres.
But probably less superpowers maybe in EastEnders. I don't know.
I don't know. The superpowers of having the multiple affairs and still staying married is a power in its own right. I just
But at what
realized
cost?
we are also broadcasting to Nordic Nordic viewers, and they have no idea what EastEnders is. It's awful.
must have.
That's what it is. It's just awful. It's a soap. I don't know. Like
Soap
I assume,
opera, yeah.
I assume
You must
there's,
have something
soaps
like
in-
that in the Nordics. But Sahira, mate, you're in a bit of a pickle here. He does have cleanse.
All flashes as the unleashed power
Ooh.
comes in. Dr. Chaos jumps right up in the air and slams back where he started. That was tragic. I think he expected Sahira not to jump out of that one, as Tamos getting pretty heavily bullied out here by Curb. Is going to miss out on a little bit. Galben looking to jump in forward. Here comes the taunt. It's going to land onto 2, but the scatter of the weak that follows. The laser beam does a little bit of damage to Sharp. You asked for a Fiesta, and they're not going to give it to you.
I think that play had potential if it was done out of Fog of War, but looks like there's going to be some more.
Can he hit that curtain call? Lilting Lullaby is going to land. Ericsson's going to throw out the scatter of the week, and Michigu going to be able to survive. Cloud Dragon's up, and that's why we're seeing action, because these teams want to go for it, but Chris Burke's doing so much damage. Half health Galbin with the Akafi and Rain. Teleports are coming in, and Curb's on the flank. He might just look to tidy this one up. Michigu's going to do his best to deal with him, but Curb with the Narbar working up means Granit really can't contest this. The Call of the Forge God's available, but they're not even going to risk it.
Yeah, instead, what you want to do right here is you want to play for mid, you want to play for topside vision, and you want to play for top wave, because you can't do anything there. As soon as Galvin got chunked out there, that was that basically. You can't go in anymore. You didn't. Tamos shouldn't have used his TP in that situation. I understand like what the idea is, and I'm sure Granit wanted to be able to contest that, but ultimately, you just really want to pick up gold on the map where you can at this point. Can't contest that dragon. It does put you on stall point. However, it's better than being put on stall point and getting wiped and then probably losing the Baron as well, which would have happened if Granit had really tried to force the issue.
You can see at least there's something from Granit. This is definitely the least proactive game we've seen from Granit. Normally, even when they're losing, they try. That was the first time we've seen like that Granit, where they actually tried to contest something. Ultimately, it didn't work, and they didn't die. No one overstayed or overcommitted. But at least there was something there from Granit, because we've seen a lot of these teams who do, when they get put in these choke holds, don't know how to get out, and they just kind of lie there and take it.
I mean, I'll be honest, like, Granit might not just be lying there, but it's not more than the twitch. That's not much else we're getting out of them. I think at this point, they are just having to give everything up, and I suppose you're right. They are trying to do some stuff. They are thinking about it. But honestly, I don't even necessarily want to credit them with that, because I don't think they're good decisions either, honestly.
No, you're not wrong.
I think they're kind of... they talk a lot about steps, right, when it comes to setting up objectives, and I feel like Granit are kind of skipping steps here. They don't really have the position to then set up the vision, and it basically just means that Granit face check and get chunked out so that you can't then contest any objectives. And I think we've seen that a lot this game, and Nordavind really playing a smart game. Another very low kill focused game, but it's objectively pretty decent League of Legends. Just don't have to get kills. Kills are more of a means to an end, and if you can find that end through other means, then
you always know AD carries a meta when the games just drag out into a farm fest and it's all just about rotating around the map. Bring back Mage's bot lane when it was all just about killing. Games are 18 minutes long. It was just complete murder sprees.
Yo, you need to be careful what you wish for, because I'm sure someone somewhere said bring back Mage's bot lane and the monkey's paw curled, and then we had Seraphine, Lulu, and just the Moonstaff abusers.
No, mages, not enchanters.
Okay. I'm sure that.
I don't want enchanters bot lane. Because
Keen
enchanters always
distinction
go
there.
hand in hand with champions that want about 4 items before they play the game.
Yeah. And we saw that actually at the first game of the day. Unfortunately, the tempo of Fnatic Rising was too much.
Oh, hold on.
Let that. Yeah, all right, let's see what they can do, because this is going to go down very fast with the Kai'Sa. Opt to not go for this Baron instead. I do feel like this could be one of the ways that, you know, Nordavind could throw this game. Is an ill-advised Baron play.
Yeah, like you said, the stealth bomber in the pit when you've got your magic shirt on from the Baron debuff, that is a pretty horrible chokehold you don't want to find yourself in. So good job of them to step away. They're just limit testing, checking the damage numbers. No, Kai'Sa can't one-shot Baron yet. Give it another 40 minutes and then we'll go again. Is
there a way to just double-check the evolutions that Kha'Zix has? I know he definitely has W evolution, but Orcs, I'm not... Okay.
Orcs has such a nightmare about this. So he's definitely evolved Void Spikes. We know that
He's definitely got his W. He doesn't have his E. And I'm pretty sure... See, I'm not familiar with the skin, because it all looks different depending on the skin. Because if you evolve Q, your claws get larger. And if you evolve R, you change color. But I don't know. That looks like he's kind of the base color of the skin.
I think
and
he's done
those
claws.
are like pretty big claws.
I think they are pretty big claws.
I think he may have done
Orcs
claws,
actually,
but I don't want to...
Orcs went and actually checked all of the evolutions and all of the skins because he had to learn them. Because remember, Kha'Zix was meta last season. He just we never knew what Kha'Zix were evolving. Like it was such a nightmare.
Yeah, you just
literally spent like ages checking all the skins and seeing what they all did.
Yeah, I think that is ulti evolution. You know, I've got a sneaky suspicion that is ulti. I mean, it should be either way, but still, yeah, it's not worth talking about if we don't know for sure, because you know we could just be ragging on him for absolutely no reason. But either way, yes, as you mentioned, the stealth bomb in play. See, I feel like this is part of the problem though for in this game, kind of from both teams, is teams aren't really using Fog of War very well. You know, they just kind of group up on Aram. And we're on the wrong side of the Atlantic for that.
Mishigu literally dodging everything there. Now caught himself in a bit of a chokehold and expecting to see some action. Remember, this is soul for Nordavind if they can secure this. Kerb's about to gnar out, and that is not the timing they want. Gavin's going to do a fair amount. Here comes the call of the Forge God. That's the big wombo already. Kerb looks for the slam back onto Mishigu. The taunt's going to connect. The health bars are already low. Sahira gets himself a shutdown onto Ericsson. Kerb chasing Mishigu. Mishigu able to jump away. Catches him with the snare. Got that fourth shot ready to fire up, and Kerb will lose his life as Mishigu secures it. Dragon will get picked up for Granit here. And finally, some action.
We did it, finally. We got some things happening on Granit. Wow, I wasn't expecting they'd be the ones to come out and fire. Flash taunt, Chrisberg.
AD carries have too many dashes though. And Chrisberg is out of there. Laser beam comes over. Tomaz able to secure the kill. And Chrisberg able to speed away to safety as Galbin picks up the second dragon for his team. Our first team fight when the mid laners are level 16.
Nah, don't do it. Oh my goodness, they're doing it. I'm not so sure about this one, I'll be entirely honest. There's TPs coming up from Ericsson and from Kerberos. You do this so slowly. What is this call, Granit? Get out of here, man. Take the reset. Gosh, what is happening? Jake, please tell me.
Bad things are happening. Bad things are happening. They didn't have their AD carry or their jungler for that. Dragon secure.
AD carry's
team fight
as well. Like, it's just... Maybe if I can't even... Okay, maybe I think they've got a bit hypey, you know. They've got a little bit hypey. They're doing some good things, and they're rolling with it. You know, they're rolling with it. Fortunately for Granit, you know, they're not. Well, the downside of going for a play like that is once you then get poked out and have to reset, it opens a window for Nordavind to go in for the Baron, but that's not going to happen. So, no harm, no foul there for Granit, and instead just a very successful team fight, picking up that dragon as well, and really they're kind of just on the board here. So good stuff from them.
Got the Typhoon finished up onto Mishigu now. Was able to pick a kill up onto Kerb in that last fight, and just a good ending to this fight there. Sharp gets taken out by Tomaz, but ultimately, all Itements are starting to come through. I don't know what the Duskblade Evolve is, and they're doing this so well. They think just because they got the Scuttle Crab, they're clear. Yeah. But Baron's being snuck away, and there is not going to be anyone in range to check it. Unless
it's
the blue...
go down fast as well.
Michigu's got blue, and that's the only way they can check. Sharp's pretending to go over, but because they can see the jungler, they feel completely safe doing this. This is such a sneak from Nordavind. No contest, no opportunity to steal it, and Chrisberg steps out just to let them know what they did.
I wish I could be on comms right now to listen to the action from Granit here. because they really were not expecting that. And they were in decent position to contest it if they wanted to. There's two things that really made this Baron play like really sneaky and really efficient here and effective. You mentioned them both, Jakey boy. First one, when you have the Rift Herald, not the Herald, sorry, the Scuttler, the Rift Crab. When you have that down, that circle outside of either Dragon or Baron, it doesn't see inside the pit, but it very often gives teams a sense that they have vision over the objective, even when technically they don't. So even though Granit had that circle there, had that vision outside of Baron, it doesn't see the backdoor entrance into the pit. And also, as you mentioned, the jungler was in mid lane. You don't expect sneaky Dragon or sneaky Baron plays to go down if you can see the enemy jungler. So it's really well played there by Nordavind to sneak that one away.
You can see the gold graph coming up on your screen right now, and it is up and down for Nordavind, but it has recently taken a bit of a spike. The gold's not massively far ahead, and with the fact that they got the Ornn items, they're actually not doing bad in the sense that that gold graph is the gold difference on your screen and the gold graph can be a little bit deceptive because the Ornn items kind of amount to half an item each. And with the fact that they've upgraded the Locket, the Typhoon, and whatever the Duskblade is called, interesting to go for Chaos's. Oh, that is so edgy.
What was his name?
Shadow Carver. Curb?
Yeah.
You might be dead, mate. As he is shadow carved to death.
He is. Nothing personnel, kid. Just gonna take that L, and this is actually a pretty bad death here for Nordavind because they're kind of playing off tempo with this Baron buff, and now whenever you lose someone, whenever you can't push with Baron, it's a pretty bad news bears. It's essentially the opposite of what you want to do with that Baron buff, and now Nordavind just gonna have to back away with that man disadvantage. Kerber's going down on the top side.
And keep in mind, there's a lot of locked gold on this map as well. All of the turrets still stand for Nordavind. One good fight for Granit, and they start to crack open some turrets, and this game suddenly becomes a lot more relevant for Granit. Now, obviously, you are playing into things like the Syndra and the Kai'Sa, two champions that scale very well. Ericsson actually at the kind of max scale point of the Syndra once you've maxed out your ultimate, so you get as much damage on that. Is it extra range you get on your ulti at level 16?
I am not 100% sure, my dude.
It's on the passive.
It is.
Yes, extra range. Yeah, so it's only Force of Will, which is going to be the last thing to upgrade here. But the main thing is the Q's got extra. The Q at level 9 gets upgraded, and you get the passive upgrade from that. The Scatter of the Weak means you got the wider width for the thing, and then more range on the ulti means Ericsson can play a little bit more safe. 75 range, nothing to sneer at.
Yeah, absolutely. And now we're seeing this Baron Buster about to expire with 10 seconds until Dragon as well. That's a good route, though.
Oh, that was the pick they needed. As Tomaz actually does land a knock up onto touch. Dr. Chaos is coming in, but misses out on the taunt. And with a member down, Galben a little bit low. Do have to keep that in mind, but I think he's pretty comfortable to pick this one up. Got that Void Spikes to heal himself back up nice and comfortably. Dr. Chaos blocks the Swirl Seed as well, and suddenly Granit went from enemy team being on Soul Point to them being on Soul Point. And like we were saying at the beginning of the game, when Cloud Soul was picked up, Granit actually really like Cloud Drake. They've already got 30% CDR now on their ultis. 40% plus the movement speed is going to be really effective because Granit basically play around their ults. That's their like big spikes. You want the Ornn Horn up as much as possible to get the picks. You want the Galio to be able to follow up in the middle of the fight as the taunt comes in, and they're actually just looking for the Leona. Everything getting layered down, and Galben able to secure the kills. Chrisberg takes a knock up. Kerberos is teleported in, and out goes the Galio to safety, but he is already way too low. Kerb slides in, gets himself a two-man knockback. Michigu able to put him in place for the moment. As Sahira doing so much work to Kerb. The Gale Force forward, trying to pop that GA, not able to do so. The Unleashed power is so big. Galben sliding in onto the backline. Tomaz going golden as Chrisberg zoning away for the moment. Galben is just going to lose his life. He's able to survive for the moment. The Void Spikes keep him alive, but he will finally go down as Ericsson secures the kill.
Chrisberg with a beautiful heroic jump in right there with his ultimate, taking down the two carries. Poorly timed there by Galben as well. Right as Galben jumped out, Chrisberg jumped in. But this all started off with a bit of a feisty engage here by Dr. Chaos. The problem is you're still under tower. So that's always going to be a little bit splitting the team fight here. As you can see, Galio having to ult out. Galben isn't really even in this at all. By the time that Galben walks his way through, which there he is, he's just on his screen right now. He's going to jump over right as Chrisberg jumps in. And that's a bit unfortunate timing right there. But still, it was a close fight, but Nordavind did really well to pull that one out.
It started bad, and it ended up going pretty good for Nordavind.
Yep.
We are getting close to the point. Oh, yeah, it is a visual bug, by the way, on Tomas. He has upgraded his ornament. We actually had this the other day. He obviously gets his at level 13 before everyone else. For some reason, it doesn't show the fact the crest gets upgraded.
Is it just that item, or is it all Orns?
I think it's Orn, but to be fair, it was that item last time it happened.
Yeah.
So somewhat hard to say.
Extra gold. If Tomas, I think most, like, crucially here, we're really close to Kha'Zix getting his third evolution. Take a cheeky look at the gold here. It's pretty close across the board. There is a slight gold advantage for Nordavind, but honestly, at this point in time, especially with the Orn upgrades, it doesn't really mean too much. Granit now, with the inside track onto this Baron, are going to look to get rid of this vision, put some vision of their own down, maybe even try and trap Nordavind, who are going to look to face check this one out.
Yeah, dodging away on the swirl seed. They do a fair amount of damage to it. It's closing in on late game, to be fair. So these items and these champions are doing pretty filthy damage. Zahira got the 4 items on Victor right now. Luden's upgraded, got the Lich Bane as Chrisberg has to Gale Force away from Mishigu. Looks to lock him down. The Call of the Forge God's been thrown out, and Tomas actually looking not going to hit a single person with it. The Curtain Call's just going to layer in a little bit additional damage. Tamoz's ultis have been disappointing this game, unfortunately.
That was a zoning ulti, and all of the leaves in that tree are very, very scattered right now. But unfortunately, none of the players from Nordavind, which I think is the more priority target right there. And something that I wanted to mention as well here, which as I'm bringing up this point, I've completely forgotten what the point was. Oh yes, it was the fact that Granit started Baron without Tamos to tank it, and no,
that is not what they needed. Zahira has to go gold in the middle of everyone. Here comes the ulti though. Ericsson goes gold and gets the shut down as the Chaos Storm is cooking him. They find themselves the shutdown, but the Lilting Lullaby lands onto everyone, and Mishigu just being zoned away from the fight by Curb. Curb should be able to take him out, but this fight is on all fronts right now. Touch is being chased. They're trying to turn it around. Galvan able to jump away. They nod Dr. Chaos back. Here comes the Call of the Forge God. Here comes the turnaround. They get the knock up, and Dr. Chaos is sprinting to the wind as he just punches away, but Touch is chasing. Touch may lose his life here. Galvan goes invisible. Galvan's looking for the shutdown, able to get it, reset to hop over the wall, and Nordavind somehow come out on top in a 2-for-3 team fight.
What a close fight that was, though, and it started out so scary for Granit with Nordavind getting caught out with the Leona ulti. He had no flash, so despite the fact he was able to use the Zhonya's to buy a bit of time, wasn't able to survive. But here we go, we got a TP coming through. Tamos is back in. This is the Soul. Whichever team picks this one up, they're going to get the Cloud Soul. And oh my goodness, this is we've just seen one crazy fight. I've got a feeling we're going to see another.
I think we're in for a lot of action here. Sharps in the area. They do lock down one, and that's Soul secured for Granit. Galben is able to jump away. That scared me a little bit there. I didn't know whether or not he was going to be able to get out. Zahira knows Zhonya's now, so he has to be careful until that comes back off cooldown, because this fight, as you can see on your screen right now, started because Zahira got caught.
Yep. It's insane to me as well, though, that Granit were able to pick up this Cloud Soul in this game. Like, my goodness, they were getting suffocated out. It was looking like another kind of dull, low kill, but clean game from Nordavind. And unfortunately, for a team that has been struggling to the start of their NLC 2021 spring, getting a clean game here really would have been quite a confidence boost, I reckon, for this squad. But instead, they're really having to fight for their lives here, and it's going to be really coming down to the wire as they have now lost that Cloud Soul. But Baron's still up for grabs. These team fights still can go anyone's way.
Absolutely. We wanted the circus to show up. We had 2, I'm going to say it, they were frankly boring games. We had 2 boring games at the beginning of the day. I don't care, they were. Finally, we're getting something a little bit more competitive. It took us a while to get to that point. We have 40 minutes in, and just so you know, we are 13 minutes away from the longest game of the split. And I believe that was yesterday we set that.
I think as well, one of the cool facts about being...
Oh, no.
that's the Drowsy. Okay. Cleanse being... Oh, sorry. Slash being burnt there from Jin, who has both Cleanse and Slash, by the way. So definitely...
Kill Mishigu.
Yeah. Not looking to get CC'd in this game.
Gale Force, QSS, Flash, and a QS and a Cleanse. Obviously, he doesn't have all of those options at the moment. The Flash still on cooldown for a little bit longer. Touch takes a lot of damage as in goes Curb, trying to see if he can get the catch out. They finally get the knock up from Sahira. Massive ulti of the Touch forces him to flash away. Mishigu snipes him on the back line, and Curb is going to go down. Galvin looking for one. Here is the heroic entrance, and here is Granit. They're here to play. A triple kill for Mishigu. Chrisberg looking for the snipe on the back, gets himself a shot down, but Dr. Chaos, he is not as tanky as he thinks. He is out of there. Granit, find free.
3 for 1, but Granit's jungler goes down. I'm not sure whether they're going to want to flip it here and turn onto that Baron, because Sharp is still alive. There could always be that smite still coming through. Great team fight there by Granit. Looked like they had the superior position as well, splitting up Nordavind. It is going to be a Baron play, but don't have that smite advantage. You've got to be careful.
They're trying to bait. They're trying to bait. Tomad's keeping it healthy. The Dr. Chaos is taking poke so consistently here. Sharp actually gets caught out by the stun. Here comes the call of the Forge God. Sharp's being zoned away. Has to use the stopwatch, but the Storm is cooking him alive. Chrisberg looking for Sahira. Ooh, look at the damage from Sahira. Zhonya's is used. Baron is secured, and Sahira's out of there. Here comes the snipes. Can he find it?
Oh!
Mishigu can. Oh, my lord.
And he gets
red.
Let's go. Oh, my goodness. Yo, Granit just turned this game on. Oh, I was a little bit nervous for them, but perfectly played at that Baron there to focus down the jungler so that Sharp couldn't get in for that smite steal. We're going to take another cheeky look at this team fight right here. Now, I want you to keep your eyes on Chrisberg, who's at the top of your screen, moving to the right now. He doesn't get any auto attacks off while the most of this fight is happening. And that's really just it, honestly. Now, look at him. 0 auto attacks so far. We're still on 0. The replay has ended, and he's on 0 auto attacks. It's just positioning, like, not even to fault Chrisberg, but just the positioning of the fight. But either way, we're going to get another fight in now.
This is the ultimate coming in as they get the knock up. They've got the Chaos Storm, enough to send them packing. His Curb's just getting cooked. Touch takes so much damage from Sahira. He just can't survive this. And Granit may just have done it. Tower number 1's going to go down. They're looking to zone away. Curb gets the slam back on the multi-members. Chrisberg trying to make a miracle happen. Mishigu goes golden. Sahira's looking for Sharp. Sharp's still going in as Chrisberg slides onto the back line. And he is just liquefied. Mishigu throws the ultimate. Hits one onto Touch. Touch is just going to have to run to the tower as he's locked down and shut down. It's a double kill for Mishigu. 42 minutes on the clock. And Granit take down Nordavind.
I can't believe it. From the start of that game, I thought that was going to be the complete opposite. Massive props to Granit there. They said in the very first win of their split, they are not here to spectate. And my goodness, they were spectating for parts of that game, but when it really mattered, they definitely came onto it. And that was such an exciting game. For me, that's got to be the most exciting game of NLC's stream so far.
That was so fun. Honestly, I can't believe that turnaround. And can you hear it? The Granit hype train is pulling in, and coming up after the break, Conductor Mishigu will be here for an interview. We'll see you in a second.
Sunsets, high rise, you know you're on the floor, diamonds, good life, walking the golden door. Everybody knows that you wanted more, more. Ice cold to the touch, we're gonna burn it down, bodies so hot until we hit the ground. Everybody knows that you wanted more, more. Change not my don't wanna talk about it, not tonight. No, you probably think about it, but it's fine. Playing all the same, you know there's no amount. 'Cause money makes the world go round. I don't see a problem till it makes me sick. Dollars by the minutes, I'ma spend it quick. No talking me down, now I'm doing it now. 'Cause money makes the world go round. Spend it till it's all out. This is all I feel now. Money makes the world go round. Spend it till it's all out. This is all I feel now. Money makes the world go round. I don't wanna talk about it, not tonight. No, you probably think about it, but it's fine. Playing all the same, you know there's no amount. 'Cause money makes the world go round. I don't see a problem till it makes me sick. Dollars by the minutes, I'ma spend it quick. No talking me down, now I'm doing it now. 'Cause money makes the world go round. Money makes the world go round.
On a night like this, we are something special. We are. On a night like this, we are gonna make it so far, so far. And I don't know where we're going to, but I'm okay 'cause I've got you. Yes, it feels right like this, dancing with you under the stars, the stars.
Welcome back to the NLC, and I'm gonna be honest with you, I haven't been in the NLC a lot of times. I'm not sure what I just noticed or witnessed, I need to say. See, I'm totally confused, and I bet for the new people that join us, you're confused as well. But if you want to witness it more often, be sure to follow the stream, be sure to follow the Twitter, because that was, I would say, beautiful, but also a bit hurting on the side of Nordavind Goldborg.
I mean, I liked it in the beginning. I was like, this is what we needed from Nordavind. Look at them playing around the objective. They do it so perfect. Look at this hell. Wait, they're doing this hell with Drake up in 20 seconds? Nordavind, what are you doing? Wait, the Drake setup. Hello? Get the soul. Keep the objectives going. And then after that moment, it was just like every objective setup in the in the game just didn't work out for them. They just forgot about everything about prior, and all of a sudden they're facing a victor with almost full item build, and they were just like, well, I guess I'll die.
Yeah, but eventually it's Granit Gaming who take the win, and let's have a small chat with the bot laner. And you need to help me with this. Is it Migishu? How you pronounce it?
Well, I mean, it started off as Migishu, but it's more like Michigu now because it's rolls off the tongue better, in my opinion.
Yeah. I mean, the game we just watched, the game you played, that was kind of they had us in the first half, but eventually you made it with the win. Can you talk me through that game?
Well, from the Champion Select, we knew that we outscaled their comp pretty hard. So when we got that first Cloud Drake, we thought we were chilling pretty hard, actually, because we just know that, late game with the Jhin and especially Victor on, Zaira, hard to lose.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, a 2 a week for Granit Gaming, that must feel great, doesn't it?
Yeah, it feels amazing, actually.
Because you also have a bit of an underdog position, right?
Yeah, for sure. Since everyone was doubting us when we first came in, and now the only team we actually lost to is BTXL, and that wasn't unwinnable, so.
Next week, you have a new challenger, a team we've spoken about before, a team we've seen playing today as well. They've been labeled as the 3rd seed in the NLC. I'm talking about Tricked. They're the team you're playing against next week. How do you feel about that game? What are your expectations of that?
I think it will be a great game. I don't have any big expectations. We will play our best, and hopefully they do too. And if we play our best, I think we can actually win it.
I hope that too for you. Enjoy the 2-0 week, and we'll see you next week.
Thank you.
Yeah, a bit of an underdog position here. Jamada doesn't feel too terrible about their performance. Are they a little bit misjudged when it comes to their performance?
I mean, going into the split, sure, you could definitely say that, right? No one really had much of an idea of how Granit was really going to do. Everyone just kind of said, all right, well, 6th place team in this group. That's just going to be the end of it. But, Sahira's got the hype train going. We just heard from Mishigu there as well. And yeah, I think now people actually are starting to believe in them. Going forward onto Tricked, it's sort of a different beast. But, they've been the underdog so far. Maybe they do actually surprise us.
Yeah, because we were a bit surprised about the way they drafted Goldberg. But eventually, what Mishigu also said, we scale better, and we're eventually able to take that win. It kind of felt like they knew what they were doing.
Kinda. I would say that they were scaling to the point where the Nexus maybe would have exploded in a better setting, but they made it work by coming back here with good priority around their Drakes when Nordavind didn't know how to do it. So you gotta hand that off to them. They were good at punishing mistake in the mid game, and we said it coming into it. This was gonna be the close one today. This was the rough one.
Yeah, and we're gonna head into the drawing board as well, Goldberg. I mean, the game started off pretty stale, pretty boring, but eventually we got the fiesta, we got the kills we were hoping for.
Yeah, and here's the thing, I just talked about this, Trick never good enough on the setups. These were the kind of Drakes where you need to be the first one on the mark, and you're just not. It's Granit here who's gotten the vision. You can see it here. It's them who's got the control of the Drake. Or, yeah, there's still the ping balls coming in, but you don't own the area anymore on the side of Trick, and that's kind of the problem. So you can see as the fight pans out here, this is the position where Victor wants to be. This is where Victor is in his win condition, and you gotta hand it off to Sahira. This gravity field coming in here pretty much single-handedly nets them the comeback. After the 2 carries out, there's only leaving the rest of them to just get picked up by the rest, and still Sahira on the backside, playing on maximum range, staying away, zoning 2 members, and that just means going into it, this is where they lose to Drake.
Yeah, a deserved win for Grand Gaming, who would take the 2-0 week. Jamada, any thoughts yet about that game still left? Because let's be fair, the mid game was an interesting one.
Just different priorities from Nordavind. I've got to say it's disappointing to see a team like Nordavind lose a game from that kind of map state. So a lot of review to do there from that point on, because realistically the game shouldn't be hard to close out from that point. So I think honestly something like that, it just takes a conversation. So hopefully for them moving into next week, we don't get that same weird objective priority. And they could actually close out a game like this, because that realistically, they should be 2-2 off a lead like that, in my opinion.
Yeah, 100%. Because at the end, it was decision making, because it was at one point where they started the Baron and backed off of it. And Goldberg, you were actually pulling your hair like, why would you do that?
It was just, I felt you had tools in your arsenal to take that game. And obviously, that's the thing you got to rub you back. But at the same time, Granit Gaming, you gotta give them praise for staying level-headed.
Definitely.
They were calm, and they weren't panicking. They were not making mistakes. A lot of times you will see a team try to go for desperation plays instead. Nordavind was able to sneak a Baron away, and they were still keeping their head cool on the side of Granit. They were not afraid to step up when it mattered, and you saw that here.
Yeah, you did see it here. And what you're also going to see is the last game of the day. We're going to head into a break, but when we come back, it's going to be Dusty taking on BTXL. And that might be a game that, well, I've been told that might only go one way, and you want to see what way. So stay here, and we'll see you after the break.